So, do another collective reading right now. Just kind of wanted to do it from scratch. There's a loud truck right behind me. Just do it from scratch this time. Okay, so normally the reason why I do all the shuffling and do this is because it takes up like 8 minutes of the video, and I prefer just like kind of cutting out all that energy and just like going right into the messages. But I know some people like to see the whole shuffling process and the whole like bringing the like alchemy together. So that's just like simply what I'm going to do with this video. It's just kind of like just do it all from scratch. I've been shuffling this for a minute, so we're going to go ahead and pull the card. So what does the collective who's watching right now need to know right now for their highest timeline? One more. Okay. All right. Ooh, you have the moon card. This little crab. I love crabs. My Cancer moon. So naturally. Okay. And then we have the student of Earth on the bottom. Okay. Kind of have this like more like youthful, emotional energy right here. All right. Okay. I'm going to do 2 decks. So what does the collective who's watching right now need to know right now for their highest timeline? I have like no makeup on. I just kind of like spontaneously decided to come on here, so yep, it is what it is. Okay, what do they need to know right now for their highest timeline? One more. Okay. Ooh, the Ace of Wands. Burn moral. Okay. Then we have the Judgment, Corpse Finder. I just did a reading for Scorpio that had this card in it. I'm like still debating whether or not to post it because it was like a little sporadic. It's kind of sporadic. So we'll see. But we still have it coming through for the collective energy. So Corpse Finder. All right, and then I'm going to pull some messages right here. So what does the collective need to know right now for their highest timeline? What messages do they need right now? Okay, not too many. Okay. So this normally takes a moment. So right here we have a student of Earth with the moon card. Student of Earth with the moon card. This bird, it's always like beautiful to me. This little bird, like she's not quite sitting on anything. She's kind of like hovering in the air, but her roots go all the way down deep. Student of Earth, which is a page energy. I don't know if I already said that. It's like moon. Cancer moon. Or just like Cancerian energy. Also can relate to Pisces. I know like they're kind of interchangeable. And we have the Scorpio energy here with the Judgment. Like actually related to Scorpio. I believe it's Pluto. Scorpionic. So we have like Piscean. We're very emotional. Like we have all 3 signs here. Gosh, this is such a beautiful moon card. Just big and bold, like the moon. It's yellow. I don't know if it's coming up like that. It looks like a light yellow. Okay. All right. So the messages that we have are donkey, bacteria, snow globe, still crowned, the number 30, and Santa. All right. Being drawn here to the corpse finder. So that was about, in the Scorpio reading, something rotting. Something rotting. Interesting. So we were talking about Pride and Prejudice, the zombie version of it. And there was this guy who came into like this masquerade ball, and he was telling people that there was a zombie amongst them. And the way he was able to tell who the zombie was he released flies, and the flies naturally gravitated to the person who was dead. They were just like masquerading as a human. Which is also interesting because we were talking about the zombie what is it called? The zombie, the parasite. Where it inhabits like bodies and reanimates the body, where the host is dead, but it crawls into the body and it animates a host and makes the host appear alive. Corpse finder. Which is making me think of like the vulture. Like normally a vulture cleans up that stuff and prevents like parasites from crawling inside of stuff like that. Prevents like the disease from spreading. Like I'm gonna go ahead and say like that's like a disease, like that parasitic energy. It prevents that kind of stuff from happening. So someone or something we have Santa right below it. So Santa, we had Mrs. Claus come out in a different reading, and I was talking about how they were a divine pair. You know, they have like their own divine mission. Like there's only one Mrs. Claus and one Mr. Claus. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like they're one of a kind. But they also have like that mission together and then their own separate missions. But why would this be under corpse finder? Someone or something animating. What, baby? Hold on, my cat is gonna come up here. A Santa Claus energy being animated in a parasitic way. If you think about it, like Christmas has passed. We've already had like that season. We're now into like later into January. And naturally that energy is like back in the North Pole, you know, working hard for next year. It's not necessarily like, you can say like that season is like past. But why would there be like corpse finder? And this parasitic energy reanimating a host, a dead host, a host that has passed on. We're going to get back to that. That's interesting. Okay. Then we have donkey. So donkey always reminds me of Shrek. You know, donkey in Shrek. Like a friend, a companion, like the comedic relief. Donkey was like tossed out, or he was a fairy tale creature. He was a talking donkey, and he was being sold. And I forgot what happened. Did he run away and stumble upon Shrek's swamp? I think that's what happened. Yeah, and it's sitting right underneath this student of Earth. This like young, youthful energy. And if you think about it, donkey was kind of like, I don't want to say abandoned, orphaned. Like he had nowhere to go. He had no home anymore because his home, the woman who owned him, was selling him. And he ran away and stumbled upon Shrek's swamp. And yeah, so he had nowhere to go. So he was kind of like alone. He was kind of in this like, oh yeah, like kind of like no, like he has roots, but like this bird is technically not sitting on top of anything, even though it kind of looks like it's perched. It's not technically sitting on anything. So it has like its history. This just reminded me of the parasitic energy, that weird parasitic thing trying to crawl into a host. But this energy looks alive. It has like this red energy here, which, you know, red. As soon as I said red, I just looked at this little apple on my desk. And this came through in the Libra reading as knowledge, information. I was going to say root chakra, but as soon as I said red, I made contact with the red apple. Knowledge. So is this even a person, or is this representing like even an idea, a space? Knowledge. Something trying to infest, trying to, because we also have the Ace of Wands here, which kind of reminds me of like root chakra, sacral energy. But this is alive. This is healthy. This okay, there's something that's like dead or zombie-like here, and there's also something very much alive and pulsing with life. That's what we need to determine what's going on here. Okay, so this looks to be alive, but that looks like the parasitic energy, almost like trying to crawl into something that is alive. And normally parasitic energy crawls into like a dying or dead host, I believe. Yeah, because we have the moon card here right next to it, which means something that is hidden. Something that is hidden. You know, if someone did something like illegally or against the law and they tried to bury something, this energy is going to find it. Yeah, that energy is going to find it. It's not going to remain in this energy. But it's weird. It's really like, this kind of looks gross to me. That at least right now, that looks like a pure pulsing energy of life. It reminds this Ace of Wands energy that's right next to it. It's pulsing with life. You could even say intelligence, since I looked at the apple and that was what the Libra reading was coming through with, the intelligence. But it could just simply mean like, which, you know, roots, but like, that's not roots. Like, it's coming through as this parasitic energy. Something is trying to present itself as roots potentially, but it's a parasite. Parasitic knowledge. Trying to infest true knowledge. We have donkey right underneath this. So I want to like kind of focus in on this as being like the donkey energy from Shrek. Donkey. Donkey. Why would something be trying to... Like if you think about donkey, he had roots, he had a history, which roots can represent. But he was almost like abandoned by, you know, his roots. Which almost like, I don't want to say it like, this might mean something different for everyone, but like, this could even be like, false storytelling or saying things that, no, because this energy looks to me like it's trying to get in, not like it was created. It looks like the parasite that's trying to get into the host. A false story trying to get into a host, trying to infect the knowledge, the truth, the experience. Like if you think about Donkey, she tried to sell him for money. And maybe it's like this energy coming back in saying, no, I didn't actually do that. I wasn't actually trying to sell you for money. And trying to like, and I keep wanting to say infest. Infest the truth. Yeah, like someone trying to bury information or something trying to be buried. But like the truth is going to be found, this corpse finder. The truth is going to be found. Could even be about like patience, because we have this moon card right here, which means that there's something hidden, something that like I can't even see. Something hidden. And it could just mean like holding awareness around the potential like this just reminds me of the history of something. Something is historically either inaccurate or something is being almost like the story trying to be rewritten and forced upon this energy. Like as if like, no, this is the actual truth. No, that, you know, what I did actually didn't happen. But it feels parasitic, like a zombie. That zombie virus. That zombie parasite. It looks like something that's trying to get in instead of something that's originating. This just reminds me like the fiery truth. Like the purification. Like wiping out that parasite. Purifying the energy. Trusting your because this is the Ace of Fire, which is very much about fire can represent your spiritual knowledge, a spiritual truth, intuition, like okay, sorry, my cat knocked over something and then wanted to go out. So, okay. Anyways, we were talking about intuition right when he knocked that over. The fiery truth, a torch. A fiery truth. And if you think about it, like with passion, like actual passion, something born of inspiration, something fiery, something just with this moon here, I keep like taking a pause because there's like something, it feels like that's being danced around. Something that's being danced around. But this is like such beautiful energy. Like this, it's a yummy moral. It's a yummy mushroom. It's the kind of stuff that you want, not this. Like whatever this is that's going on here. Like you want this energy, not a parasite. Maybe that's like, maybe that is interesting. I don't want to get like crude in any way. You could almost like say that this is like the root chakra, like the, you know, your I'm not quite sure what I can say on YouTube yet without getting flagged. Let me just say like yoni. Like you can almost say like this is the yoni and this is like a phallic energy, but this is like a parasite trying to get in there, whereas this is like the healthy energy. This is born of like passion and truth, whereas this is like born of like some kind of like zombie energy. Like that could be something. We're gonna keep going. Just like how it's positioned just kind of looked like that. Yeah, with the Santa energy over here. A false Santa. Something trying to act as a divine. I wanted to say a divine, like someone trying to act as a divine counterpart to Mrs. Claus, or someone trying to appear to be a Santa to a Mrs. Claus. Like, and I'm saying that in a way like a divine couple, like two people who are here to share a mission, which clearly Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus have a mission. Like they're only, you know, so that's how it's like coming through for me. But it's like this almost like a false, yeah. Something trying to be buried, someone trying to bury a truth. You know, you're gonna know what this is. In the truth, you're gonna be able to tell what a truth is, especially with this energy. What brings this energy out? What inspires this? What is trying to act as a truth, but is really a parasitic thing, trying to infect and infest a truth? I mean, you know exactly what this energy feels like. You know when something is true. You can feel it. And I don't like the Santa Claus energy sitting right underneath the corpse energy. Like something trying to be buried, a truth trying to be buried. This looks like you're going to be able to know. It's almost like this energy, this corpse finder. You're going to be able to know what the corpse is because of this energy. Like this is going to lead the way. Wherever I can't even see, you're going to be able to see something clearly with this energy. And this could simply, like, it's going to mean something different for everyone. It can mean, like, even in Cancer's reading, it was about their, like, spiritual inheritance, like the things born of them, of their passion. They could also represent, like, sexual energy. Like, this is The Ace of Wands, it's a phallic energy. It is the masculine energy being received by the feminine energy, or, you know, inserted, you know, born of like passion, of truth. Okay, let's get to these other things. I haven't really talked on these too much. Okay, so bacteria. So bacteria can be either bad or good. Like, I'm thinking about like the gut. Like inside of your gut, when you have a lot of good, healthy bacteria, it naturally is able to kill off the bad bacteria, which just means like you having like a healthy diet, especially as you get older, like having just a healthy diet. Like, I forgot what they're called, but when you have a healthy gut, there you almost have like these like super soldiers inside your stomach fighting off any kind of cruddy energy. Now I'm thinking of this as like a super soldier fighting off a parasite inside your gut. I just feel like you're just gonna know. And I'm not quite certain how you're going to know. I just feel like you're gonna know when you need to know. Like a gut, like super soldiers know when there's bad bacteria coming in. Okay, and then we have a snow globe. Snow globe, you shake it, kind of exists within a ball, normally has snow or like glitter, confetti, kind of like creates a beautiful illusion within a bubble. Oh, it's kind of reminding me of this like moon energy now. Also Coraline. I can't remember what happened, but I remember a snow globe being important. She was able to see her parents trapped on the other side through the snow globe, right? I remember them screaming for help. It was an illusion, but she had to figure out how to get out of the illusion. There was this, oh God, what is it called? A beldam. Is that what it's called? Beldam was creating an illusion, weaving an illusion around her, trying to entice her into something. Yeah, the beldam was trying to, so she created, she preyed on where Coraline was missing something from her life. And Coraline just moved to a new place, and her parents were super busy with their work and weren't giving her the attention that she needed. They hadn't gone grocery shopping yet, so there was like a lack of like good food in the house. She was bored. Okay, this beldam energy preyed on that. And when she went into the alternate universe or portal, whatever you want to call it, the beldam had plenty of good food, had parents that were hovering over her, bought her whatever she wanted. They preyed on the things that were being neglected in her true life. But this beldam was like weaving this illusion around her in order to trap her and prey on her energy, to use her energy. I forgot what for, but she had done it to several little children that were stuck in the ghost world. And she you know, so she was trying to do this to Coraline as well. But the snow globe. somehow she was able to see through the illusion when she looked into the snow globe. I forgot what happened, but the snow globe just reminded me of Coraline. We have this like weird like false weaving of something and then the actual truth. The Santa Claus energy right here. Something divine, almost like something trying to hide something divine, trying to bury something divine. A divine truth, a divine story, a divine partner, a divine mission. Okay. Still crowned. So this also reminds me, so still crowned, almost like someone trying to bury you, or someone trying to almost put like false stories onto you, or almost like weave something different around you, but you almost like, to me, this reminds me of like moving with integrity. When you move through life with integrity, you move through with your integrity. I guess that could be different for like however people perceive that to be. But when you move through life through the integrity that you put upon yourself, and you know that you've done things like through your spiritual guidance, through whatever is morally right to you. When you know that you've been doing that and you move through life in that way, when people try to create false story or weave a lie around you, it's naturally not going to stick, because the truth is the truth. And when you just keep moving through and not being like held down. So this is the thing, years ago, I used to be heavily impacted by people's perception of me, or perception of what the truth was instead of what the actual truth was. I knew what my truth was, but also I was greatly impacted and very, very sensitive to the perceptions and projections of what people have created as the actual truth. Very, very sensitive to that. Emotionally, this Cancer, this like moon energy, highly sensitive to that, to people's projections. And you almost like carry it on you like a weight, like something that you have to carry. But I grew and I learned. I'm like, I got to a point where I was so weighed down by it. And I was like, you know what? Why am I holding this? It's not mine. Literally, it's not true. I know what's true. Why am I carrying it? And so anyways, this still crowned energy just reminds me of just like when you realize that certain like stories or projections just aren't true, you can just walk through. Just walk through with the truth of what you know. And that it's harder than it sounds sometimes, especially when you have super sensitive energy, especially like watery moon energy is very, very sensitive to this. Or just watery energy in general is very sensitive to that. And it's just like getting into a place where you know what your truth is. And you're like, you know what? Even though they have like projected that onto me, it's not mine. It has nothing to do with me technically. It's something that they've created for whatever reason they needed to create it, or were told, or whatever it is. It's not mine. So when you show up just as you, unaffected by their false weaving or whatever it is, the stories that they've created, you're still crowned. You kept your crown on. You said, no, I don't have to carry it. It doesn't matter how true you believe that to be. It's not true. So you're still crowned. You're still walking with your integrity, with the truth of who you are, of the truth of the situation. So it doesn't matter how much someone tried to bury a truth, you're still crowned. And when that happens, you're naturally burning up the false energy and not allowing these parasitic energies to infest. Even when they try to do that, you see that? It's trying to push its way in. It's not going to get in. Because when you carry this energy, the truth of it. the truth of it. So, so when you walk in integrity, naturally, these like little mushrooms are going to detect what the false story is. They're going to detect what was trying to be buried. Like, if you even think about it, like with people trying to bury your story or trying to recreate your story or rewrite it in some way, when you walk in truth, even when you have the evidence of your truth, I got to a point, so I learned from a very young age as a teenager that I needed evidence for everything, or no one was going to believe me because the truth was literally stranger than fiction. And so I had to learn as a teenager to record everything, to that screenshot came later, but having to just like record the actual evidence to be believed. Mind blowing. And so, anyways, I've grown up like that. I grew up knowing I needed to record everything. And so that's why I'm even stronger in my own faith, in my integrity, because I know I have the truth. I know I have the evidence, which are these little mushrooms everywhere that aren't going to let people get away with like rewriting something or saying something is different than what it actually is. And so I still remain crowned because I've walked in my integrity and I have proof. So maybe that's important for you in some way. Screenshot stuff, whatever this is for you, it sounds like if you're not already recording the evidence, then you might actually have the evidence in some way. So maybe that might be important, something to go through. Whatever this donkey energy is, it's around this donkey energy and maybe around this like divine energy, this Santa energy, this abandonment. It's almost like Donkey's that woman coming back into his life and just trying to tell her or tell him, oh, I want you back. You're special to me. And like saying like all of this isn't actually real. What actually happened. It's like could be just some like cringy energy like that. Okay, and then we have the number 30. So maybe that might be a helpful number for you to look out for, like a synchronicity of some sort. Could represent someone's, I was gonna say birthday, but I meant to say age, a certain day of the month, like going back in your records, your evidence, the 30th of a month. Okay. And then we have Santa again. So I feel like I've already kind of I just don't like that it's sitting underneath the corpse thing. Like literally how it's positioned right here, it's like this. Almost like it's Santa that's buried. Like that's how it's sitting, like that's how I see it. Santa is buried. The vision of Santa, the mission, and something trying to infect, just like false light. Yeah. I feel like you're gonna know what this is because we have the Ace of Wands here. You know what inspires your passion. You know what lights your fire. You know what inspires you into action. Like that's something that no one can like rewrite for you because it's born inside of you. It's an emotion. And it just reminds me of this like bacteria energy, like the super soldiers in the gut know when there's bad bacteria trying to infect it or infest. Okay. I'm not really seeing anything else. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. I feel like I've brought forward all the messages that I can see right here. Like I said, there's something that is hidden that I can't even see. So it's gonna just be very specific to your situation. But this like moon energy is, yeah, deeply impacted by others' projections, deeply impacted. So, you know, if that's like something you're going through, just knowing what is actually yours, what the actual truth of the story is, and just walking in the integrity of it. Just like walking with the knowledge, with the truth of what it is. Like that's the best thing that I can say right now. And record the evidence if that, you know, is specific for your situation. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. And I hope you found or got whatever messages that you needed from here. And I hope to see you next time.